I'd like to call to order our meeting tonight for Board of Education. Tonight is February 19th. It is 7:01. And our first agenda item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Do I have a student representative tonight that would like to lead us in the pledge? You can come up. We would love that. We just need to get you to the microphone, so that would be great. If you come over to the podium and you pull that microphone down, thank you, Dr. Diaz, we can get you to say the pledge. Please stand. And the flag is on this side over here. Are you ready? Ready? Go for it.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice job. Thank you so much. Okay, our second agenda item tonight is special recognition. We have Griswold Middle School Civility Awards and Rocky Hill High School Civility Awards. I'm assuming that I'm going to have Griswold Middle School go first, and that is Principal Jason Maziarz.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. First, I want to say that was the best Pledge of Allegiance ever. Great job. I can't wait to see you at the middle school. You're coming soon, right? What grade? Second? Just skip third, fourth, fifth. Come right to sixth. We got room for you. Okay. It's truly an honor tonight to present to you two really spectacular kids. But before I do that, I do want to acknowledge the families of these two amazing kids because we know full well that these kids don't show up on our doorstep just like this. You've done a lot of work to get them to this point, and you've modeled what good citizenship is and what kindness truly is. So thank you to the Whitakers and the Drapus for creating such amazing kids and sending them to us. We are grateful. So I'd like to call up our recipients, Nora Drapu and Bennett Whitaker. We did not audition this yet, as you could tell. We're working on it. I also want to acknowledge, as they're up here, the amazing GMS staff who've really established an incredibly warm and welcoming and inviting environment. And they work so hard to acknowledge kids like this that do great things and model what it is each and every day to be a great citizen. So kudos to the GMS staff. So I'll start with Nora. Tonight we recognize Nora Drapu, an 8th grader at GMS. She is a thoughtful leader, a kind-hearted friend, and an outstanding citizen of our middle school. Nora shows up every day with kindness in her words and courage in her actions. She listens when others need to be heard, stands up for what's right in a quiet and subtle manner, and makes our school a place where everyone feels welcome. Nora's service, whether helping classmates, organizing group projects, or simply offering a smile in the hallway, which she does often, reminds us that small acts build a stronger community. Her integrity, generosity, and quiet determination inspire peers and teachers alike. Nora, thank you for leading by example and showing us that citizenship means caring for others and taking responsibility for our shared world. We are proud to recognize you tonight. Keep being brave, kind, and true to yourself. The world needs more leaders like you. Please join me in congratulating Nora Drapu. Okay, Bennett Whitaker. Ready, Bennett? Okay. Tonight we celebrate Bennett Whitaker, a compassionate leader, dependable friend, and outstanding citizen of our middle school. Bennett shows respect in his words and responsibility in his actions. He steps in to help others, listens with care, and encourages classmates to do their best. Whether showing a new student around the building, engaging in a friendly conversation with staff or students, or keeping our halls welcoming, Bennett quietly models kindness, teamwork, and has a positive attitude. His strong sense of fairness make our community safer and stronger. Bennett, thank you for your dedication, your integrity, and the thoughtful way you treat everyone at Griswold Middle School. You remind us that citizenship is shown in everyday decisions. We are proud to honor you tonight. Please join me in congratulating Bennett Whitaker. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Foti.
Or-
It's a tag team tonight. So Mr. DeCarli's done a lot of work with the Civility Award, so I'm going to give him the mic and he can take over.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I'm going to call up Shravani Wahil and Sarah Jose. They want to come up, and I'll read what we prepared for them. We're very impressed and thankful. So good evening, members of the board. Tonight, we are especially proud to recognize two outstanding students. We're going to present them as a pair, as recipients of our school's Civility Award. As you're aware, this award honors students who show a consistent commitment to kindness, accountability, and thoughtful regard for others that exemplifies our school district's core values. Through their actions, our recipients foster a secure, inclusive, and uplifting environment in which every individual feels respected, supported, and valued. After school, about a week and a half ago, during a club activity time, a significant medical emergency occurred. In a moment that could have caused panic or confusion, these two students demonstrated remarkable, quick decision-making, calmness, and compassion. They immediately attended to the individual in distress, ensuring that that person was not alone and was cared for appropriately. At the same time, they had the presence of mind to seek out trained staff members located in another area of the building, clearly communicating the urgency of the situation. What stands out most is not only that they acted, but how they acted. They remained composed, mature, and focused throughout the entire incident, maintaining a level of calm that many adults might struggle to sustain in such circumstances. Their ability to balance empathy with responsibility ensured that help arrived quickly and that the situation was handled safely. Through their actions, these students embodied the true spirit of our Civility Award. They demonstrated that civility is not simply about polite words, but about stepping up when it matters most, showing kindness, responsibility, and care in ways that protect and uplift others. We are deeply proud of these students. They serve as role models for our entire school community and remind us that character, compassion, and courage can make a profound difference. Please join me once again in congratulating Sarah Jose and Shravani Wahil for this well-deserved recognition.
Thank you so much, and thank you for our students, for showing up tonight. We appreciate hearing about everything that you do in our schools, especially this particular Civility Award. We are very proud of you. This next agenda item is audience participation. So we are going to open our meeting up to the public. This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside for comments from the public. Speakers are asked if you would like to come up and make a public statement, that you please speak your name and address into the microphone and try to limit your comment for 2 minutes. The board will not be responding to you, so please just be aware of that. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board? Sure.
Okay, so Idant Bosley, 28 Westridge Drive. First of all, a month ago, I came here to speak to you guys, asking you guys to come and support us for the Boston Model UN trip that we had. I'm proud to say that we came back and we actually won 4 awards at the Boston Model UN trip. So all 4 of us won awards. Just wanted to, come out and celebrate and show you guys kind of where your investment is going. And first, freshman year, we got 1 award. Junior year, we got 2 awards. And this year, 4 awards. So continual growth. And that's kind of the way the club has been going. The last 4 years, it's growing in rapid fashion. And I just want to come out here and thank you guys for all of your support. Special thanks to Mr. Foti, Mr. Dudas, and Mr. Papsiak, who are also on the trip. They've been such a backbone to our team. And they allow us to do what we can do best is, go to these conferences, prepare, and execute, and that's what we like to do. So if you guys want to make any other comments, feel free to do so.
So I mean, it not really said it all. So I guess I could share like a few anecdotes from the committee that was in. So I was Canada in COP30, so a lot of climate change this and preserving the environment. And so just like I do think it was a great experience. So thank you so much for contributing to our trip, because we learned a lot of things, especially when it comes to leadership. So I was in charge of a block that focused specifically on ensuring neural networks to kind of track and make sure that biodiversity loss doesn't happen. It's a lot of complicated stuff, but I mean overall it was just a really fun leadership experience, and coming out of it with an award, coming out of it with a lot of things to learn and talk about in the future. I think it was overall just really great. So thank you so much for contributing and supporting us.
To add on to their comments, my name is Suhan Wasu, and I just want to reiterate the thanks for this board. This is not an isolated opportunity. We've had the chance to go on numerous such conferences in the past. Like Idam mentioned, some of our club members were able to go to Boston in their freshman year. We also went to Yale earlier this year and Boston again this year. And we are continuing to create these opportunities for others as well in our own Rocky Hill High School Mod UN conference. So we'd like just to thank the board for giving us the opportunity to compete and giving us the chance to spread the opportunity to other high school students as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Anvi. I was also given the amazing opportunity to attend this conference for the third time. And you don't really realize it until you get back in that committee room where you understand, yes, we might be role-playing as different entities and countries solving these imagined issues, but it really starts to matter when you talk about things like civility. We just are honoring all these students for doing this good community work. I was able to represent, it wasn't a country, I was actually Plato in a philosopher's roundtable. So our idea was to try and create this utopia, where a world where everybody is happy. And we ended up failing really, really poorly. We did a very poor job at actually creating this utopia, but within all of these conversations about what do people need, what are people desiring, what compromises need to be made, it always reminds you of what we're working towards as this club, Model UN. Our vision with creating this and making it available to all these students is a place where they can envision themselves being real leaders, creating real action, learning the skills that they're going to need in their futures. And as you can tell, we're all so grateful to have this opportunity. Thank you so much for supporting us, and we hope we can continue this legacy for far after we have graduated. So thank you.
One last thing, March 29th is the conference day. Keep that in your calendars. 9 a.m. Is our opening ceremony time, and our keynote speaker should be announced pretty soon. And this is also to members in the community. Feel free to come out and support us. We would love it. Quick 9 to 9:30 is our opening ceremony, and hopefully our keynote speaker should be announced soon, so keep an eye out for that. But thank you guys so much for your support, and I think we're headed in the right direction, so thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Adora Cobb. I am the proud parent of a fourth grader at Mosier Elementary and the proud parent of a first grader. I know he's tall. I wonder where he gets it from. I'm here tonight not to bring a complaint, but to share a story of how our school community showed up and showed out in a truly beautiful way. A few weeks ago, my son experienced an upsetting incident during recess. It was a difficult moment for our family, but what followed is what I really want to highlight. From the very beginning, Principal Casello and Assistant Principal Mrs. Moore responded with care, professionalism, and a genuine commitment to doing right by both students involved. They kept me informed, they listened, and when I expressed hope that the boys could eventually reach a place of understanding rather than just separation, they made it happen. Mrs. Moore facilitated a restorative conversation, and with the full cooperation of the other students' parents, these two boys sat down together, spoke honestly, and found their way to peace. I cannot express how proud I am of both of them. The courage and maturity it takes for children to sit across from one another after a conflict, to be accountable, to listen, and to extend and receive grace is remarkable. I am genuinely in awe of them. I want to recognize the students who witnessed what happened and had the courage to step in, and the parents in our community who reached out with kindness and concern. Our community is not without its challenges, but tonight I wanted to stand here and say loudly There is so much good happening in our schools. Thank you to the Mosier administrators for turning a hard moment into an opportunity for growth, connection, and healing. This is what it looks like when a school truly lives its values. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board?
Good evening, and thank you for your time. Henry Vassell, and we're located, I'm with the Rocky Hill Education Foundation at 761 Old Main Street, Rocky Hill. I have some brochures to hand out for the Harlem Wizards game. If everyone could take one and pass it down, and I left some at the back table, too. To refresh everybody's memory about the Education Foundation, it's made up of 100% volunteers. We all volunteer our time, and 100% of the money raised is donated back to Rocky Hill to further Rocky Hill's education. To date, the Education Foundation has donated almost $200,000 back to the schools. This Wizards game, which is going to be our best one yet, is our largest fundraiser, and we need your support. And what can you guys do here on the board? Well, you can share our Facebook page and make sure you bring all your friends to the game. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be our best show yet. The Rocky Hill Dream Team is made up of Rocky Hill teachers and educators, and I'm just going to run down this list because I got to tell you, it is very exciting, and we think it's going to be a great showing. From West Hill School, we have Kara Fauscher, Kara Quinn, Travis Godley, Matt Kataja, Glenn Nelson. From Mosier, we have Betty Jo Stevens, Tom Casello, Brian Sanford, Jelani Scherer, Jessica Lynch, Caitlin Moore, Matt Apollo, Victoria Lacadian, hopefully I got that right. Our three SROs, which are just phenomenal, Sarah Raymond, Keith Baker, and Brian Carroll. From Central Office, Danielle Galligan. We have Wendy Duran. Scott Nozick is participating with us. GMS, we have Tanya Adorno. From Stevens, we have Stacy Miller, Magda O'Brien, Laura Montgomery, and our faithful coach, Mr. Dudas. Tickets can be purchased through our Facebook page, which is on Facebook, The Education Foundation. You can click right on that link. And do you guys have any questions for me? It's on March 27th, 7 p.m. The game starts, and it is going to be money well spent. It is, for those of you who have been, exciting. Everyone good?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time.
Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board?
Hello, board, once again. My name is Suhan Wasu of 6 Fawn Run, and I came in earlier to speak about Model UN, but I also wanted to come inform the board about other opportunities occurring at RHHS. A lot of my classmates as a part of the class of 2026 have brought numerous opportunities to Rocky Hill High School, and that is not limited to Model UN, but also two new organizations that have been founded, HOSA and DECA, which are organizations contributed, who are dedicated, international organizations who are dedicated to bringing education of medicine, and business to students all around the world. I myself am the president and founder of the DECA chapter, along with the hard work of Mr. Brett Frank and a little assistance from Mr. Dudas. And I want to recognize a fellow classmate of mine, President Manis Ganta, who has worked alongside Aline Schneider to bring those clubs to our school. They have truly been wonderful opportunities to the students, getting them exposed, career opportunities, shadowing, keynote speakers. They have brought truly wonderful information to the kids and allow them to explore their careers early, understand the positives, the negatives, and the work it takes to go to those wonderful professions. I do not want to speak on his behalf, so I'll speak to DECA and what the activities of the club are. This next week, on Thursday, we are going to the State Career Development Conference, where our students will showcase what they have been preparing for and their business acumen as they go to experienced investors, business teachers, and other industry professionals to present their knowledge and on exams and business scenarios. I just wanted to come and bring to the attention of the board the accomplishments that our Rocky Hill students are bringing as a result of the opportunities brought by the class of 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board? Okay, seeing no one, I'm going to move on to the report of student representatives, and we are having some members of the high school student council reporting tonight.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well and staying warm. My name is Janvi Patel, and I'm here to give you a brief update on what's been happening at Rocky Hill High School over the past few weeks. A few days after returning from winter break, students began their midterm exams, which took place from January 20th to January 27th. This is always a busy and somewhat stressful time for students as they wrap up their first semester coursework. Shortly after, we transitioned into semester 2. It's honestly hard to believe that we're already in quarter 3, and the school year is moving by so quickly. On January 28th, the school hosted its 8th grade freshman orientation for parents. During this event, parents were given an overview of what to expect in high school, along with detailed information about course selection. This process can be both exciting and overwhelming, as it plays a big role in shaping students' academic paths moving forward. In athletics, our winter sports teams are beginning to wrap up their seasons. And overall, it has been a very successful winter. Many teams have shown strong performances and great teamwork throughout the season. In particular, our hockey and girls basketball teams are looking very promising and are expected to make a strong postseason runs. Finally, to close out our month of January, the RHHS Music Department held their cabaret concert on January 30th. This year's concert followed a decades theme, featuring a variety of songs from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. It was a great opportunity for students to showcase their talent and creativity, and it was enjoyed by everyone in the attendance. Overall, it has been a very productive and exciting start to the new semester, and we're looking forward to everything that's ahead. That's all for now. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you. We also have student representatives from Griswold Middle School tonight. Come on up.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Bonnie Sandhu.
And my name is Jana Palazzo, and we are here to share some news from GMS.
Boosterthon is coming to GMS with the help of our Parent Advisory Committee. We are kicking off our Griswold Bash tomorrow, February 20th. Students will spend the weeks leading up to the March 3rd main event raising funds for student activities while enjoying fun challenges and earning cool prizes. Then, on the big day, they'll participate in a high-energy school-wide celebration.
Our 8th graders recently had an exciting preview of what's ahead, enjoying a pizza lunch followed by an informative tour of the high school. To prepare for freshman year, students spent the afternoon learning about the wide range of elective courses, exploring opportunities to get involved in high school athletics, and having their questions answered. High school counselors visited GMS in January to review the course selection process as 8th graders looked ahead to this exciting transition.
Spring sports are right around the corner here at GMS, and the excitement is building. Beginning in April, GMS offers baseball, softball, and track. Our baseball team is coached by Mr. Pasewicz, our softball team is coached by Mr. Delafera, and our track team will be coached by Mr. McKinnon and Mr. Saunders. We wish all of our teams a safe, successful, and competitive season. Go GMS!
14 GMS students were selected to compete in the Hartford Chapter Math Counts competition. 4 students to represent GMS as a team, and 10 students competing individually. Our team, consisting of 8th graders, Ashvi Dayal, Melissa Lovu, Andrew Nguyen, and Ayushman Sharma, placed in 4th place out of 10 total teams and qualified to compete in the Math Count State competition at Yale University on Saturday, March 28th. We also had 3 students placed in the top 25% of all individual competitors. Andrew Nguyen placed 6th overall, Ayushman Sharma finished 9th overall, and 7th grader Mason Nguyen finished 23rd overall, qualifying each of them to compete in the upcoming state competition on an individual basis.
In the music department, 15 students were accepted into the Connecticut Music Educators Association Northern Regional Music Festival. Students learned audition music and auditioned for vocal and instrumental honor ensembles, and these accepted students will have the opportunity to participate in the music festival in March along with other student musicians around Connecticut.
This winter, our GMS Unified Sports Team has been enjoying a lively cornhole season. Players and partners meet each week, cheering one another on, practicing good sportsmanship, and building friendships that extend beyond the game. We're excited to announce our next gathering, a combined unified tournament with the unified programs from across Rocky Hill. The event will take place on February 26th at 3:15 p.m. at Rocky Hill High. It's a chance for our athletes to connect with peers from other schools, showcase their skills, and celebrate the inclusive spirit that defines unified sports. Looking ahead, our largest fundraiser of the year is coming up. On April 24th, we'll host a mobile penguin plunge right here at GMS. A water truck will be brought to campus, and brave teachers and students will take the plunge to raise money for Special Olympics Connecticut and our unified sports program. We'll share more details soon, but we're already buzzing with excitement about the energy and community support this event will bring. Thank you for supporting GMS Unified Sports. Your encouragement helps create meaningful opportunities for our students every season.
GMS Student Council members recently had the chance to participate in the Connecticut Association of Schools Middle Level Leadership Conference at Southern Connecticut State University. There, we met with students from across the state to increase our skills in promoting acceptance, making a positive impact at school, stepping up to challenges, and practicing positive social networking. An added bonus was attending sessions presented by student leaders from Rocky Hill High. The experience inspired us to return to GMS motivated, energized, and ready to put these leadership skills into action within our school community.
This spring, our students will be hosting a Pause for a Cause ice cream social. It is a school community-focused event centered on creativity, service, and student pride. Our students have been working hard to design, create, and glaze ceramic bowls that guests will purchase prior to the event and use to enjoy a scoop of ice cream. All proceeds from the event will be donated to local animal shelters, a cause our students are especially passionate about.
8th grade students from GMS have been given the opportunity to join the Rocky Hill High School Drama Club for their production of The Little Mermaid on March 20th and 21st in the Rocky Hill High School auditorium, gaining early performance experience and helping to strengthen ties between our schools. The High School Drama Club also supports GMS's fall performance by assisting backstage, creating a year-round, district-wide community of theater that fosters teamwork, confidence, and skill development for students at both levels.
Believe it or not, we are already making plans to prepare the current 5th graders for middle school. We have several events planned. Mr. Maziarz and Mrs. Weaver will be visiting Mosier on April 29th and presenting their annual A Day in the Life of a Middle Schooler to all of the 5th graders. That will be followed by 6th grade family orientation night in early May. Our incoming 6th graders will learn about all things GMS, get a tour of our school led by student volunteers, and go home with some GMS swag. We look forward to welcoming our newest students to our school in the coming months.
Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you so much, student representatives. I do have to say, I think this is our favorite part, is to always listen about what's going on in our school. So thank you so much for coming up to the microphone and sharing. I got a little ahead of myself before. I was so excited to have our 2nd grade friend lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. But at this time, I need to pause for a moment because I need to make an amendment to our agenda. I'd like to ask the board if we could move item number 18 to next, which would be 3A. Can I have a motion to move item agenda 18, which is approval of the Rocky Hill High School varsity baseball team field trip to Boston? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Addy. All in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask at this time for Principal John Fody and Coach Eric Frank to come on up and speak about the baseball team trip to Boston.
Thank you, and excuse me. Thank you, and good evening. I would like to introduce Coach Frank. Coach, all right. If you don't know, Coach has been coaching a long time. So every year, Coach is really big on connection. He wants to make sure it's a great experience. This year, he has a special team. He had a special opportunity, and he wants to create some special memories for the baseball team. So even though he's a Red Sox fan, he has had a wonderful opportunity to go to Boston and to play a scrimmage game against a local team, stay overnight, and then also be able to go and tour Fenway Park, walk behind the scenes of the Green Monster, and then also sit and watch an afternoon matinee game. So when he presented this to me, I said, are you going to take me? He said, absolutely not. You're a Yankee fan. So I kind of smirked at him, but I did sign it, and I wanted to see if we could get approval for his team to kick off the season the right way and, bring us a great entertaining season. And I can field any questions you might have.
I'm going to open up to the board for any questions or comments.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Manella.
I noticed that you do have 3 chaperones. My next question would be, are parents allowed to come on this trip at all?
Yeah, if parents want to come and go to the Red Sox game, they can, or if they want to attend the game that we're going to be playing. We're going to be playing Newington High School at Boston UMass. They have a field that's a replica of Fenway Park, so if they want to attend that game, they're more than welcome to come. If they wanted to stay at the hotel, they could as well, and if they wanted to attend the Red Sox game, they're more than welcome.
Okay. And the trip is totally funded through the Booster Club?
Yep, fully funded
100%?
through fundraising with the Booster Club.
100%.
And the transportation was donated?
They're donated by
It's
Autumn
donated.
Transportation. We just have to pay the driver a tip.
Oh, so that's what the price is there?
It's
That's for the driver?
Yeah. It's $500 for the
Okay.
for the driver.
Any other questions or comments?
I just
Go
have
ahead,
another
Ms. Manella.
question. Regarding the number of students attending, are these all varsity players, or is it a mixture of JV and varsity?
It's varsity players.
Varsity.
Yeah, it'd be 16 varsity players and 3 coaches.
Okay. So one bus will be taking the 19?
Yep, and
Wait.
then also Newington's coming with us
Okay.
on the trip. We're going to play them in the scrimmage game.
Okay. So I'm assuming they're going to share in the cost?
They're going to split the expense of the bus with us and the field expense as well.
Okay.
And they're going to ride with the 2 teams together on the bus.
The 2 teams
Yep.
together?
Yep.
Okay. So then you have obviously the rooms that are shared,
Yep.
and it says there's 2 per room.
Correct.
Correct?
Yep, correct,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the only one asking questions tonight.
Is
Everybody
there
said
anyone else
good.
that has questions?
My question is, are they playing the Yankees?
Yeah.
Playing the
I'm
Tigers.
also a Yankee fan. I'll put that on record.
I knew I
Sorry.
liked you, Miss Manella.
I
Yeah,
bleed
you have a few
blue
Yankee
like
fans up here.
Jay back there says. Yep. Yep.
Mr. Addy, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. It's actually more of a parliamentary question, maybe for Dr. Zito. I don't know if my son's going to be on varsity, quite honestly. So do I have to abstain from voting on this question, or I'm not monetarily gaining from it? So
No, I don't, there's no conflict regarding that issue. Typically, when board members abstain, it's because there's a monetary conflict.
Okay.
You know, if your wife was employed as a coach or something and was getting an extra stipend to do the trip, but I don't see a conflict.
if I was to pay coach to put my kid on varsity, that would be
Yeah,
a
your
problem.
coach might be a
You did not just say that after our meeting, right,
Contingent of
Mr.
my-
Addy?
No, right, thank you.
Oh, my.
And just again, that varsity roster is not Matt made. He has a tryout period, and he determines who those 16 kids are, so
Yes.
that's not all set.
Oh, my.
Any other questions? Okay, so seeing no other further questions, I'd like to have a motion to approve the Rocky Hill High School varsity baseball team trip to Boston. Thank you, Mr. Kosker. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Clemens, thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Motion passes. Congratulations. Have a
Thank you
fun trip.
very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
He answered my question. He answered my question. These are all the questions.
Moving on to agenda item number 4
Everybody clear that.
is district celebrations. I had asked, after I received an email from CABE, I had asked Dr. Zito if we could possibly participate in the I Support My Connecticut Public Schools, I agenda that CABE has on their plate currently. And that involved making a video about what is going on in our schools. It had to be a minute or less. And Danielle Galligan came to the rescue and produced quite a beautiful video highlighting our schools, and we would like to play that now to share with everyone tonight. It is due to CABE tomorrow, and I know they've already sent it along, but I want to share tonight at our meeting. Certainly we could fill an entire video, hours of all of the wonderful things that go on in our schools, but CABE told us we had to keep it to 1 minute. So, but I thank Danielle Galligan for pulling that together, and also all of the schools and district that were asked for pictures and just information to kind of put into that video. So I'm very proud of that. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Ms. Minella, who is going to talk a little bit about our outstanding achievements in ceramics.
So we have some very exciting news to report. We do have some outstanding achievements in ceramics. We received a wonderful email from the Rocky Hill High School art teacher, Brian Wazanko, and I would like to read his email. It was great news. So it says here, "Dear staff, I would like to share some positive news about several ceramic students who were recently recognized for their artwork at both the regional and national levels. 2 students were recognized in the Regional Scholastic Art and Writing Awards, a competitive program that recognizes student creativity and artistic skills across Connecticut. Rihanna Nelson received a silver key for her constructed ceramic jack-o'-lantern titled Autumn's End. And due to the strength of her artwork, she was also offered a $23,000 per year scholarship to the Hartford Art School at the University of Hartford, totaling $92,000 over 4 years. Cameron Luby also received an honorable mention for her ceramic sculpture titled Crushed Crush Can. She was also recognized for her work and offered the same scholarship opportunity from the University of Hartford. Both students demonstrated strong effort and dedication throughout their creative process. In addition to the two students were also recognized in the National K-12 Ceramic Exhibition Foundation Competition. This national exhibition highlights outstanding ceramic artwork created by K-12 students across the country. This year, 1,051 artworks were submitted, and only 150 pieces were selected for display. Ryan Maselli was selected for her ceramic sculpture titled The Last Can of Paints, and True Peterson was selected for her constructed ceramic heart titled A Vessel of Feeling. Both students showed strong craftsmanship, creativity, and attention to detail in their work. The National K-12 Ceramic Exhibition is connected to the National Council on Education for the Ceramic Arts and the conference, which is one of the largest ceramic art conferences in the country. The exhibition is displayed alongside this conference, allowing student artwork to be viewed by professional artists, educators, and ceramics from across the world. This year, the exhibition will be in Detroit, Michigan. We will also like to recognize and thank his fellow colleagues, Eileen Schneider and Daniel Holt, for their continued support and collaboration. Their dedication to the arts helps shape and guide our students as they grow into confident and skilled artists. And we have a wonderful team here. These recognitions reflect the hard work and artistic growth of our students and highlight the strength of our art program. Please join us in congratulating Rihanna, Cameron, Ryan, and True on their accomplishments. And we also have received attachments of their work to the email for all their hard work. Congratulations to you all. And I kind of wish there was a video of their artwork. Oh, you did?
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
To say,
thank
board members
you.
have this in their packet. You have
Yeah,
printouts
it's
of
incredible.
all of the artwork.
Okay.
And Ms. Manella is also going to take just one breath here, because I know that was a lot, but she's also going to recognize students from who have received the NCWIT Award.
Yes. So Gabby Brzezowski had also sent us an email regarding the award. So good morning. She's excited to share that several of our students have been recognized by the Connecticut affiliate of the National Center for Women in Information Technology Awards. These students are being honored for their demonstrated interest and aptitude in computing and technology, the leadership that they have shown in the classroom, and their aspirations to pursue technology in ways that solve meaningful problems and positively impact humanity. Their strong academic performance, leadership, and forward-thinking mindset make them exceptional representatives of our school community. Please join me in congratulating the following students. So for the national winner, we have Ashika Sharma, and Ashika has been named a national winner and will also be recognized at the National NCWIT Conference. For our Connecticut Affiliate Award recipients, we have Tanisha Sau and Ray Ramesh. And then honorable mention, we have Pooja Prashant Katimani and Sanvi Padavala. All of these students listed above will attend the Connecticut Affiliate Recognition Ceremony on April 22nd to celebrate their achievements. We are incredibly proud of these students and the way they represent Rocky Hill High School through their innovation, dedication, and leadership in computer science. Please feel free to congratulate them when you see them. Thank you for your continued support of our STEM programs. My best, Gabby Brzezowski, and also from the board.
Thank you so much. Great work. So proud of our students at the high school. All right. Moving on to agenda item number 5, approval of minutes. We are looking at minutes from January 15th, Board of Education meeting, January 27th, Board of Education budget workshop, January 29th, Board of Education budget workshop, February 5th, Board of Education budget workshop. February 10th, we had a Board of Education Safety Committee meeting, and February 10th, Board of Education Policy Committee meeting. Does anyone have any questions about any of the minutes that are on the agenda this evening? Okay, seeing none, can I please have a motion to
So moved.
approve the minutes? Thank you, Ms. Manella. Can I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Shabra. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much. All right, motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 6, correspondence. Dr. Zito.
Yes, we have 2 items of correspondence. 2 veteran staff members have just informed me that they are retiring at the end of the school year. Kathy King, who is a elementary school teacher teaching grade 1 at Stevens School, and Elaine Malaspini, who is our high school library media specialist. Also worked at Stevens before her assignment to the high school. 2 veteran staff members, well-respected throughout the district. They're going to be missed, but they're looking forward to spending more time with family, doing some traveling, and moving on for a well-deserved retirement.
Very good. Thank you so much. Number 7, we have nothing currently on the consent calendar. Is that correct, Dr. Zito? I don't see anything listed. Okay. So I'm going to move on to our committee meeting reports. Number 8, curriculum.
No report. We have not met since our last meeting.
Facilities.
We have not met.
Is your microphone working, Mr. Clem? Mr.
There we go.
Oscar, sorry. It is. It is it?
It is.
Yeah,
You'll be
okay.
sorry you asked.
Thank you. Number 10, finance.
No report, only because we've also met 3 times for our budget workshop, so we've been very busy on that side.
Very true. Number 11, personnel and negotiations.
That must be Jen.
And so we
Jen
have not,
Benami.
PNN
No
has not
report.
met, so no report. 12, policy.
Yes, thank you. The policy committee met on February 10th, and we had a couple discussions. First, we discussed changes to the following policies: policy 1100, 3100, 4010, 4020, 4510, 4550, 5110, 5120, 5510, 6110, and 6151. Majority of the changes within those policies are legislatively required, either through state or federal law. We did go one by one through each of those policies for the opportunity to ask questions, for clarity and understanding. So we're putting those policies forward tonight for a first read. The committee also submitted a policy memorandum to Dr. Zito with a recommendation to reduce class sizes across our grade levels. We had a lengthy discussion about the recommendations by grade level and what potential budget implications would be if we were to phase in that policy. We'll wait additional information before a formal policy change is put forward to the board for a vote. And we also had a discussion around creating a Board of Education handbook. We have looked into other districts who do this, and I'll speak on behalf of the committee at least. I think there was a shared desire to move forward with something of the sort. So we will begin discussions about what that will look like, what it should contain in the upcoming meetings, and we'll make sure we keep everybody updated. But if any of my fellow committee members would like to add anything to that, please feel free.
Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on to special education.
Special education has not met.
Ms. Morfea is not here tonight, and she would be giving that report for CREC Council, which is next on the agenda. I know she will report that out in March. Also, agenda item number 15 does belong to Ms. Morfea as well. It is school safety. However, I happen to be at that meeting, so I will give that update instead. So it was a pleasure to see all of our SRO or school resource officers in attendance at this meeting. Each provided updates on the schools that they support throughout the day and reported developing strong relationships with both students and the building level administrators. At the high school, there's been a reduction in disciplinary referrals as a result of the implementation of restorative practices and targeted interventions. The SROs also discussed their ongoing work related to school safety, including perimeter checks, and noted that each assisted with the ALICE drills at the beginning of the school year. Chief Klatt also spoke briefly and shared information about a new software system that he's exploring that could enhance communication between school personnel and law enforcement during a crisis. This topic will be revisited for further discussion at future school safety meeting. Any questions or comments? Okay, moving on to technology.
No report.
And 17, voice. I know voice has not met, so I'm going to say has not met currently. All right, so moving on. Just to make sure, sorry. We are moving on to number 19, discussion and possible action on the budget and CIP proposal for fiscal year 2026-2027. I am going to turn the microphone over to Dr. Zito so we can discuss class size guidelines.
Thank you. So just as a quick reminder of where we are, the current draft of your proposed budget is at an increase of 8.85%. I was asked by the policy committee to take a look at the budgetary implications of a change in elementary class sizes. This is the slide that I initially had prepared. These are updated projections. They've changed slightly, nothing significant. But the initial budget that I brought to the board considered developing that budget with the current class size guidelines, which are reflected in the lower corner here. So the board's current guidelines call for 20 students, no more than 20 in K&1, 22 at grades 2 and 3, and 25 in 4th and 5th. And again, if you remember, your policy also indicates that at no time should these guidelines be considered absolute. So there is an understanding that there's some variation, particularly in a smaller school district like ours, where the difference between 4 and 5 teachers, sometimes, you know, there's a budgetary impact, but the numbers, we try to stay at the guidelines. You may have 21, 22 when you're supposed to have 20. We do our best to adhere, but they're not absolute. So for next year, with no change in the guidelines, we were recommending this projection here that you see, which would be an increase from 55 teachers right now. The FTE stands for full-time equivalent, to 56. So I highlighted there in yellow the projection for kindergarten. And again, that's based on current kindergarten numbers. We typically look at the current kindergarten. I don't have a lot of information yet on kindergarten. I may get more as we get into the spring. We just started the registration process. But assuming the kindergarten numbers stayed pretty stable with the new incoming group at Stevens, we would add another section there. And the impact would be 1 additional FTE, and that's in the original iteration of the budget that I presented to you. The policy committee has talked about changing guidelines. Let's see if I can move the slide. I'm not able to move the slide. Is this a controller here? This one here, right?
Just say the word, it will happen.
It's not moving.
It did, Dr.
okay.
Zito, it did move.
All right.
You're
Gotta
on the
really
green
jam
slide
on
now,
this
right?
thing. Okay. All right. Okay, it moved magically because I don't know how that happened. All right. I was asked to take a look at what the impact would be if the guidelines were changed and lowered by 2 students at each level. So in the bottom quadrant there, you see KN1 18. I've highlighted that because another thing for you to think about is phasing these in to reduce the budgetary impact. If you phase them in, the biggest impact happens with the numbers at Mosher. So phasing them in, you avoid jumping to 61 teachers. If you just put these straight in, you go from 55 to 61. If you take a look at these numbers, if we drop the ratio for the first year to 18 and keep the other 2 cut points where they are, you'll see that kindergarten again goes up 6, and we add an additional teacher at West Hill and at Stevens. So the impact now for the budget going into next year is 3 extra teachers. We estimate that these teachers are about $113,000 apiece. That includes benefits. $226,000 increase brings you from 8.85 to 9.258 or 9.26 basically. So it's about a 0.4% increase to add 2 additional classroom teachers. But you could see the impact there is that it reduces class sizes in first grade at both of the elementary schools. Okay. I also then went ahead and projected phasing in the policy over 2 years, what the impact would be. So when we roll the projections forward, we then drop the guidelines to KN1 would be 18, 2 and 3 is reduced from 22 to 20, and grades 4 and 5 goes from 25 down to 23. And because of the way these enrollment cohorts are moving through the system, you see that 2 years from now, again, this is a projection. This is like saying we're going to have a big storm in 6 weeks. Like, 2 years from now, we don't really know. But generally speaking, we've had pretty stable cohort stability throughout the district, meaning we don't see a giant spike from one year to the next. The grade level pretty much stays persistent, even though, as we've noted many times, we have a lot of in-migration and out-migration within our grades. Our numbers generally stay stable. And you'll see that 2 years out, the impact would be one additional teacher.
Sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. I thought we had somebody calling in on the class size. So, so that's where we are. So I'm happy to take any questions. You know, we worked on this. I spent several hours looking at this and kind of considering the impact. If you jump into the new guidelines all in one phase, you go up 6 teachers because the Mosher numbers start to level out in the second year. So the impact on the budget is less significant. You're already at an 8.85. Adding 2 more teachers gets you to about 9.25. I wouldn't recommend going higher than that, but that's a policy decision for elected officials to make. My job is to execute your policy.
Okay, I'm going to
Happy
open.
to take questions on this.
Ms. Minella.
So, Dr. Zito, thank you so much for these numbers. These are is very comprehensive. I do have a quick question regarding on this the second slide, the green slide. When you mentioned that it will go up to 9.258%, I have notes here where we have a retirement at Mosher, and then the 2 that you included today. So does that factor in or no? And if not, it's okay. I'm just wondering.
I mean, we built in a couple of retirements, and I anticipated a couple, so I would hesitate to adjust based on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, we assume when we do those projections for salary, we're projecting like 6th or 7th step with a master's degree.
Right.
We're not projecting top step, so I would hesitate to adjust the budget based on that. If we see a slew of additional retirements, perhaps, but I wouldn't modify the budget based on that. We assume a couple of retirements.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Dudanowitz.
Just a comment based on Ms. Manella's question. I mean, we would anticipate wanting to refill those positions anyway, right? Like, just use the first grade teacher at Stevens as an example. We would have to replace that teacher, and then these would be in addition to those. So
That's
they would,
correct.
they would be an increase to the budget, I think, regardless.
I understand Ms. Manella's question, though, because typically when a person at the top end of the scale leaves, we hire at a lower salary. But we've already built some cushion into the budget. I think we built $100,000 in there that we removed from the salary line item to account for retirements, but I would hesitate to reduce that further. Sometimes a rock star candidate comes in, excellent interview, the person's got 10 years of experience, it's a great fit. I don't want to tell the principal no, just because I'm overly concerned about salary. So, we try to take that into account early in the process, but I wouldn't adjust the budget now based on those retirements. In fact, we had some inkling on those people, but I finally got the green light from them to come forward and share the news. So sometimes we know for a few weeks before we share everything with the board.
Any other questions?
I have three questions. Trying to do which one first. So on the slide that's showing now, you made mention that Mosher kind of right sizes right now because our 4th grade class right now is larger than our typical class sizes, correct? Grade 4 now.
Right.
So they'll be at GMS. Are we going to have a teacher problem at GMS in 2 years?
No, we won't, because GMS has 10 content area teachers, so essentially 10 kind of classroom setups, if you will. So class size typically levels out when they get to GMS. So we had even talked earlier in the budget process, I had mentioned it briefly, and talked with the principal, with Jason, and with the staff about potentially going to 9 teachers and using an additional teacher somewhere else, but the school really wants to keep the team structure in place. So The team structure provides 10 teachers. So typically, you know, if you look at that cohort of 216 going up, you think about it,
Yeah.
your rotations are going to be around 21 kids per class. So
Okay.
it's really, the school has been, that particular school has had very stable enrollment. I've been here 14 years. It's always between about 600 kids to maybe 640 or so. And there's no problem with 200 student cohorts going through there for class size. The issue we talked about at the policy committee, particularly at the secondary level, it's not so much the kind of what you would consider to be the core classes, English, math, social studies, science. It's sometimes the electives get squeezed on numbers, particularly like we see a little issue with Spanish numbers sometimes at the middle school, also at the high school. So it's some of those elective courses where we see a little increase in class size, not your kind of typical core classes that you would think of.
My second question is, you talked about in the budget the cost of the additional teachers. Is there setups for these additional classrooms? So we
Yeah,
would
no,
need
that's a
furniture,
great question.
technology?
So that, I quoted you what the salary impact would be. We would also potentially look at setting up additional furniture, additional supplies. I don't know if you did any work on that, on estimating what that would be for 2 more classrooms? Okay. So there would be an impact there. I don't think it's a massive impact, but there is a cost to setting up for 2 additional teachers.
Okay.
To the point that was made earlier, some of that might be offset a little bit by potential savings in salary. So I'm not overly, you know, if you approve the 2 teachers and we go to a 9.25, we'll make it work for additional furniture and so forth. It's not a huge cost.
Okay, all right. And then capacity. So I know
Yeah,
that we're
that's a great question.
close on Stevens. If we increase, so looking at the 2-year plan, an increase at Mosier, I know there's room in West Hill. Do we have capacity for these?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Mosier was initially built for 24 classrooms, classroom teachers. So there's never really, I don't foresee a problem at Mosier in the foreseeable future with 2 grade levels. West Hill has ample space. The issue is Stevens. Talked to Ron today. We could accommodate up to 22 classrooms at Stevens. They would lose some things that they currently have. Right now, the 2 elementary classrooms typically were preschool or kindergarten historically across the hall from the principal. Those 2 rooms now are serving as a teacher workroom and a conference space. Probably have to, we would lose some of those spaces, maybe both of them. We'd also have to look within the building. There's some related service providers in some areas. They typically had offices, but now we've set up classrooms. But the bottom line is, yes, we could accommodate 22 regular classrooms at that school with some adjustments.
That's great.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr. Clemens.
Thank you. Just to follow up on Ms. Tucker's question about space. If we return the 2 rooms, the principal's office at Stevens back into the classrooms, what about the man trap? Wouldn't that kind of defeat the purpose for those 2 classrooms at the man trap?
No, not at Stevens. You still have to get through the man trap to get into the main office. There's another locking door at the main office.
Once you're inside the office, there's another door to get to the office space?
Yeah, Ron, you want to help me with this? But when you come in through the man trap, you still have to get buzzed in to the office. There's another door to get into the office. You don't get through the man trap and just walk into the office. If you think about, you come in to Stevens, you've been in there, you walk in, you're in the man trap, you walk in again. When you're out of the man trap, you still have to get buzzed into the hallway and buzzed into the office.
Once you're past the man trap, you have access to the entire school after that point anyway. So that it's not gonna, those 2 rooms aren't going to affect, will not be affected by the man trap in any way, shape, or form. The student protection is still in place.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because, the nurse's office, all those areas are still protected by that.
Okay, so it's been a while since I've been in the school.
No, that's okay.
I know the door in the hallway. I couldn't remember about the office. It's also separated. All right, thank you.
Ms. Manella.
I'm sorry, Ron, you're going to have to come back to the podium. I have a quick question about Stevens School. So I know Dr. Zito mentioned something about the, not the first 2 classrooms across from the principal's office, because I used to teach CCD in the first, so I'm very familiar with that hall. But the second step, you mentioned there were special resources or a room.
Yeah,
I
related
just want to make
services.
sure that we're not going back to, and I'm going way back, when the kids were being taught in closets, and that's
No, actually,
unacceptable.
That was a discussion we had today, that we're looking
That's
at
not
every
gonna
possible
happen.
way to avoid anyone going into closets.
Okay.
Now, we had citations from the fire marshal for that.
Okay.
So, but if you think about it, and you look at these enrollments, 379 kids at Stevens. Ron, you could stay up here, and we may get more
Yeah.
questions. 379 kids at Stevens. We were running well over 500 at that school at one point.
Yep.
We, almost 800 kids at one point at West Hill.
Yep.
So, we are now, with the addition of Mosier, which was sorely needed, we have created a little more space. Stevens will still be tight. It's as Ron and Tom Koska remind us all the time, the original building was put up in 1957.
Right.
The second was put up in 1960. I wasn't even alive when that 67 was put up. I was close, but I wasn't there. So, that's how old this building is. So it's a compressed footprint. But 22 is probably the max. If enrollment changed again, there would be an issue, and it would introduce potentially that ugly concept of redistricting,
Okay.
which is a problem in communities because you start moving neighborhood lines, but it's certainly doable, and towns have to go through those things.
I would like to make a request for facilities, like to have a tour again.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, sooner, but I think sooner than August, it would be more optimal,
So
especially if we're talking about classroom sizes and.
I've been working with Bethany over the last week or so about the possibility of this happening and how we're going to make the moves with we're talking about maybe a couple of resource-type rooms, maybe having to be consolidated into one. So we're working on that. I think maybe a tour would be beneficial after we have a couple of concepts.
Okay.
But we are working on those ideas now.
I don't like to usually interject. I like to wait till the end, but I think at policy, we had actually asked if, since the rooms I think that you put in were like a conference room, and I think there's now a workspace for teachers, would they be upset if those are taken back as classrooms? And I don't know if there's any input they can give which could help us to make a better decision.
So I'm sure they would be upset, yes. But that's part of the conversation, is how can we rework those spaces so that maybe we only have to take up one, and maybe one of those can be a resource room versus a full classroom. Because having the students go through the office, going to specials, it's disruptive to the office. We're trying to keep them into the school proper instead of, that might be a pull-out place for students versus, so we're working on that now. I have a couple of ideas. I'm just starting to draw things out and come up with plans now.
Other question, Ms. Tucker, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kind of along the same lines, right? If the teachers are upset with losing that room, not being a teacher, I don't know how much impact one student has. So obviously, smaller class sizes are better. I think we all agree on that. Does the impact of two students, does the impact equal what the challenges that we're trying to do? The answer might be yes or no. I can't answer that question. So is all of this effort of rearranging, getting things worth two students? I don't know.
Two less students.
Two less students per class.
Yeah, I think the
class.
teachers would tell you, yeah, I think it's helpful to look at the changes. Like if you compare your blue sheet to your green sheet, that's the impact of adding, I don't know, this thing is not doing well.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 in grade 1, right? Grade 1 goes down by 3 or 4 students per class.
Oh, okay.
Just because of the way the math
Just
works
because
out.
of the way it's.
Right, the way
So
the math
that-
works out.
I
Our
would think that would
recommendations
definitely
drop
make a
2, but
difference.
because of the math, it works out
To be more.
3 or
Amy, can you
4.
go back to the
Back to
blue
the
slide?
blue, yeah, so this is, okay, so that's probably the better way to look at your question, Ms. Tucker, is
Okay.
to look at what the impact is. So the blue slide is the addition of one teacher for kindergarten. And you see what that does? It brings it down to 17.5. And then Ray, if you can go to the green. The green, if you compare in first grade, you drop from 19.8 to just about 16 kids at West Hill and about 17 kids at Stevens. So that's,
That makes a
you know,
difference.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, that's the impact of one teacher. So
Got it. That
I
makes
think
sense.
it's a good conversation. You know, it's a balance, right? It's an increase on the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a potential trade-off of a little bit of convenience and space for teachers, to be blunt. But the upside is smaller class size, which we know is a little bit easier on the teacher, a little bit better.
Yep.
Kids get a little bit more attention, just a little bit extra from the teacher. The planning is potentially a little stressful, less stressful for the teacher. So it's, you know, this is a tough decision.
balance.
I don't think 18 is unreasonable at all. It's certainly a legitimate conversation for kindergarten and first grade. Those are needy kids. We're still going to have kids coming into kindergarten at 4 years old because the state legislature kept that waiver option in there. So we're still going to be dealing with 4-year-old kids in kindergarten. That means some of those kids will be 5 when they start first grade. You know, that's a lot of little bodies to run around. I'm looking at our board chair who does this all day with first graders. Has like a finite window. She can call me during the day before she has to go pick up kids from specials.
Yep.
So that's not unreasonable to phase it in. But, you know, the impact, I would say 3 kids is fairly significant when you're in charge of, you know, I mean, I know people all the time say, I've got 2, I'm not having a third in the house, so, you know, that's just one extra kid, right?
No comment.
So, you know, if you think about it that way, 3 kids might be a lot.
Yeah. All right. Ms. Dudanowitz, did you, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just a question, Ron, for you. Do we know yet at this point if any of those conceptual changes to Stevens will require any, or will have any impact on our capital improvement budget?
They won't have impact on capital.
They won't, okay.
Anything we do would be small construction, possibly within our operating budget, if anything at all. So I don't see an
Great.
impact on that at all.
Great, thank you.
Furniture?
Yeah.
Furniture, yeah.
Mr. Kosker.
Thank you. I waited, so all these other questions out, so I appreciate all the questions first. It's a good conversation, and I apologize, I wasn't able to make the policy meeting the other day, so I wasn't part of this conversation, so I appreciate it now. So a couple of questions. From what I recall, or looking at the future projections of enrollment, which I know are projections, and again, like guessing the weather sort of thing, but we get data from people that do this for a living. The future is flat-ish. Slightly down, like flat-ish, slightly down, not trending up. Again, things could change. There could be some great stuff happening in Rocky Hill and everyone moves here. But from what we see now, I'm just thinking about the you know, if also our population were going up and we're dropping class size average, now we're talking about future, like, whoa, like potential more teachers. But it doesn't seem like that's the case based on, you know, what I've seen with future projections for the population in the future years.
That's correct. And
Okay.
if you look at the purple slide,
Right.
you see that when that
It doesn't change a lot, right?
cohort of 216 exits out of 4th and 5th,
You're
you know,
okay.
that jump of 6 teachers, if you implemented those guidelines for next year,
Carry you.
it
Yeah.
drops back to an increase of 4 teachers. So
Yeah.
it starts to level out.
Yeah, and Mosier's looking fine at that point because of that,
Mosier's fine.
right?
Yeah, and then, you know, if what we gave out at the last policy meeting, I've recommended to Ms. Lafredo that you set up another special meeting to discuss specifically the issue of class size as a policy.
Yep.
And then have a budget workshop after that.
Yep.
I think that's the best, because you still have until the March 12th meeting to adopt your budget. But this is a really important policy decision, and you need to make
Yes.
sure, we have 9 board, I've also sent her the athletic schedule for basketball and hockey playoffs.
Yes.
In a
Thank you for that.
proactive attempt
It
to
was
avoid any.
quite extensive, yes.
Conflicts. She and I were
It's
you know,
tough to
trying to
do.
think ahead, like, if there's a state quarterfinal basketball game or hockey, you know, we're
Yes.
gonna have board members that wanna be there instead, and I
Appreciate
understand that. So, that's my recommendation, that we set something up probably for the first week of March.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's great. And so that answers that first part. just so I might just sort of a follow-up question is I was thinking about the timing actually, because as we think about this, I go, okay, now let's say, hypothetically, this all happens, right? And we do decide, make changes in policy, and we decide to change budget requests, and God willing, we get approved for certain amounts, you know, and we're sitting here in, what is it, April by the time we get our budget back from town council? Or
No,
some May?
mid-May.
May. So now we're waiting until mid-May-ish
Yeah.
to understand whether we have the green light to hire. So I guess my question is how is our timing impacted? I know this happens a lot every year, like posting and hiring, and when you're looking at, we're not hiring one, we're hiring 3 or 4.
I'm not concerned about elementary school
Good enough.
positions. They're a
Thank you.
dime a dozen. I mean, there's a flood of applications.
Yeah. There's plenty of
If this was
applicants.
High school,
Yeah.
chemistry, physics, I would be a lot more concerned.
Awesome.
Elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
Will have a lot of interest in this district.
Awesome. Cool, thank you.
Mr. Addy?
Thank you. Well, Tom's a very smart guy, that's why we tend to think alike, so you took a couple of my questions. So just to piggyback on what he said, yeah, we have this fancy report that we probably paid a consultant to throw some numbers in a chart, but none of them match up with what you're producing here. So from what this NESDEC report is saying that over the next 4 years, we're going to be losing 139 students projected. And that's in K through 3 and 4 and 5. Your numbers for K through 3 for 26-27 for the budget we're reviewing now is 726 students. The projected report is saying 688, so there's a 38 student differential. You can just tell me that that report is really just not anything worth reviewing?
No, I mean, but again, if it's 38 kids spread across.
38 teachers, that's a difference of 1, so.
Well, but you have to think about, when you look at it, I don't have that report in front of me, but if you're thinking about, you just stated, like K through 5, 38 kids, that's 6 grade levels. So it's, 7 kids, 6 kids per grade level, reduction. 6 in a grade level, spread across 2 schools, we're talking a difference of 3 kids at each school. So that report, I have found that report has been a little more pessimistic about enrollment, or optimistic, depending on how you look at it, in terms of it trending down, and our experience has been pretty flat, very flat, actually. So they might be missing some factors. NESDAQ, they don't charge us much at all. We're a member district. It's a very low fee. They do a good job producing these enrollment projections for us. They were very helpful years ago when the district enrollment was skyrocketing. We were probably the fastest growing district in the state, and that's why we needed to build Mosher School, because we literally had, I think the top was 788 kids at West Hill School. And over 600, I think, at one point, right around 600 at Stevens. So we had 19 portable classrooms, if I'm not mistaken, between the 2 schools. I mean, and it was a point like, are you going to start lunch at 9:30 in the morning? Because the cafeteria is fixed space. 800 kids, you have to feed them all. So they were helpful then. I still look at them, but these numbers are actual bodies in classrooms in Rocky Hill. And I'm only projecting 1 year out and 2 years out. So I would go with these as a little more reliable.
Yeah, well, I hope it doesn't.
Because that's based on
fall- I
kids.
hope it
This is
doesn't
our
fall.
enrollment right now. These are the kids we have in our school district.
All right, appreciate that. 2 other things. You asked about the timeline, so I was concerned about voting and approval of this. This isn't a policy change, correct? This is just like a recommendation?
No, this to me, what I'm doing tonight is responding to a request from the policy committee that under the budgetary item, what would the potential impact be of a change in board class size guidelines? And that's the report I'm preparing. So I'm showing this to you. Like I said, it's a policy decision for the elected board to make. But I think it's prudent for the board to ask what the impact would be before making any decision. So I'm sharing with you what my best assessment of the impact would be. And if you do go ahead as a board and change your class size guidelines, I'm recommending that you phase them in over a couple of years, because if you jumped right into the change, the proposed change going from 20 to 18, 24 to 22, and 25 to 23, you would need 6 new teachers next year instead of just 2. So the impact of that, you know, that's another $460,000 roughly. It's another almost, you know, another 0.8 on the budget gets you about 10 at that point. So I think a more conservative course of action. It also, you know, it just, to me, you also would have the furniture issues and the classroom supplies and everything now for 6 teachers versus 2 next year. So that's what I would recommend. Obviously, the board does what the board wants to do.
Okay, all right. And then my last question is how do our recommended guidelines for classroom size compare to other schools in our DIRG?
Well, I don't have that information in front of me. We can certainly get that if we have a special meeting, and we can give you an idea of what surrounding communities look like.
I was going to comment on that. Ms. Dudanowitz did an excellent job doing some research at our policy meeting, and I'll make sure that everyone has a copy of that so that you can see the research that she did, and she can include some information from the DIRG as well, just for the next meeting. Ms. Manella, go ahead.
I just want to make a statement, that's all, a comment for Mr. Addy. I will say, looking at these numbers, so when my oldest son was in kindergarten, and I go back to my pictures or whatever of their class with Mrs. Skelly's class or whatever, I mean, there were 16 kids in his class. And what's happened over the past 10 years or so plus, those class sizes have increased. And to have these primary grades at levels of 22 students, I mean, I'm sorry, I feel sorry for those kids, because my kids grew up in a primary time where they had the smaller classes, and I'm sure your boys were in that bubble too. And what's happened over the years, it's just increased over time. And that's what we're facing right now. And I would like to see them back to what they were back in, let's say, 2010 or so. And that's it.
And I don't think that the projection request of taking a look at the class size guidelines, moving from, 20 students in kindergarten and first grade to 18 is outrageous. Of course, I'd love to see that lower, but we're talking about trying to pay attention to space and how many teachers and furniture and things like that. So it does become costly the lower you go, but I don't think 18 students compared to the 20 is an outrageous request to try and move. So, any other questions on class sizes tonight? Go ahead, Mr. Addy.
In response to Ms. Manila, yeah, I'm totally all for less kids, the better. So I just want to make that statement that I'm not against or saying that the situation that we're in now is good, So, but I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of when I'm looking at projections of 4% less students over 3 years, almost 100 plus students less. Yes, it's a good fix for the situation now to add 6 employees, but if the numbers are going down by 100 or so over 3 or 4 years, well, who's going to be the one to say, I'm sorry, you don't have a job? Because,
But you're always going to have retirements too, like we saw this year, so.
Yeah, so.
The balance.
Early retirements.
Typically,
There might be.
Yeah, no, but that's a good question, but the answer is I agree with what Ms. Lafredo said, that we experience a handful of retirements a year. One of the reasons, we looked back, if you remember on your staffing sheets that I gave you, some historical data. I think at one point we might have had, we were over 60 elementary teachers. And in the effort to keep budgets reasonable, when people retired, we were consolidating some positions through attrition, still staying below the guidelines. We've never really got excessively over the guidelines at all. 1 or 2 kids here or there. But that does happen. So I'm not overly concerned about changing the guidelines and then having to do layoffs, because there's always movement. In a dynamic district with 260-something certified educators, you have a combination of people leaving for other districts, people retiring, people going on maternity leave. One of the, our elementary school teachers, some of them are at that age where they're having children, and each year we're dealing with it with 3, 4, 5 maternity leaves. So this problem, I'm not overly concerned about it being an issue of having to do like a mass layoff if enrollment dropped. Now, if something crazy happened and enrollment dropped by 400 kids, then we would be looking at reductions in force. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, we haven't even brought in the C word concierge yet.
Well, we're going to report on that later tonight, and the good news is the third building, 200, is now open. So Scott has a lot of detail to give you an update on what's going on there. But again, just to give you kind of information there's 129 students that live in those 5 buildings, and it's spread across 13 grade levels. So even the impact of a couple of, if every one of those families moved, we're looking at a very small drop of students overall, 129 spread across 13 grades. And they're not all moving. So in fact, 3 of the buildings are open now. So I don't project a huge impact on enrollment, even though that's a very unfortunate situation.
Any other questions?
I do not.
Okay, so what I probably will do is ask the executive board to look at some dates that, once Dr. Zito and I sit down and look at the sports calendar, and see if we can get a date out where we can have the policy meeting to, again, talk about any concerns or questions, make sure that everyone has the write-up that Ms. Dudanowitz had for the policy meeting, and we can continue to talk. And then that same night, we will also try to finish talking about the budget, unless anyone has any burning questions that they'd like to ask about budget tonight. I'll open the floor to that, since we are on the same topic still.
Burning budget questions?
Burning budget
I'm
questions,
not
besides
prepared-
class
I'm not
sizes.
prepared for that at
No?
all.
Okay. Mr. Addy, go ahead.
Yeah, just a concern. So I attended a board meeting prior to being on the board. I think it was probably September or October, maybe even August, where there was a family that, from GMS, I believe, that came up, and a well-spoken woman who was talking about how the difficulties her daughter was having in school at GMS because of a change in program or a change in something. Not sure what the what the program was, but it stood out to me as a member of the audience because it was very tangible, living proof of a situation of a change. Is anything that we're doing in this budget cycle, what we're doing or proposing, going to improve upon that situation or make it go back to the way it was where it was better? Or it's something that jumped out at me the other day, and I was like, I never really asked the question before. So
Can I be honest? I'm not quite sure your comment or question actually fits here, because I'm trying to talk about the actual operating budget right now. I think that might be a question for maybe possibly a committee meeting like curriculum. Dr. Zito, would you?
I think we discussed this
we
at
did.
a curriculum
In a
meeting.
meeting.
all right, I
And the-
wasn't
and the
sure if it was
budget
a
meeting.
position
Yeah.
or something like that, but okay, that's fine. I appreciate it.
Sorry. I just want to
Makes
stick to
sense.
the topic that we're on currently. Any other questions about budget for the operating year of 2026, 2027? Mr. Kosker?
No, I don't have any questions, but just I appreciate the plan that you guys are making to have a future meeting, because I think there's pieces that I wasn't prepared tonight for this conversation, so, but will be for that next one. So I think that's helpful in absorbing this class size stuff, which is a very robust and good conversation, and then the other things and impacts around budget that we all need to do. So I think that's great, so that we're ready for our March 12th, sorry about that, March 12th meeting. So thanks.
Right, just as a reminder, we do need to adopt that, our operating budget on our next board meeting, which is March 12th, correct?
Right.
Okay, seeing no other further questions, I'm going to move on to agenda item number 20. and which is the approval of the legally mandated revisions to the Board of Education policies, which Ms. Dudanowitz had already stated. This is a first reading, 1100, 3100, 4010, 4020, 4510, 4550, 5110, 5120, 5510, 6110, and 6151. I do believe that all of the board members received copies, correct? They were all nicely sticky noted. Thank you to Sandy in the back. So are there any questions right now? Even though this is a first read, I did want to have, give the ability to ask a question if you so desire to ask a question about any of these board policies. If not, then we will see it again on the agenda for March. No questions. Okay, very good. Excellent. We are moving on to agenda item number 21, Interim Assistant Superintendent for Personnel and Student Services, Dr. Diaz Santiago will report. Hello, Dr. Diaz.
Good evening, board members and the members of the Rocky Hill community. Congratulations to this evening's Civility Award recipients. Your actions strengthen our schools and set an example for all of us. I would like to share a brief update from Human Resource. Last week, we interviewed several candidates for daily substitute positions, and we anticipate onboarding a number of them in the upcoming weeks. We will also be attending the Central Connecticut State University School of Education Career Fair next month, and these efforts reflect our continued commitment to recruiting strong educators who will positively contribute to our students' learning experiences. We will continue our civility assemblies this spring with Mr. Jamel Thompson to further engage our students in meaningful conversations around character, leadership, and community. This concludes my report, and I am happy to take any questions this evening.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you so much. Moving on to agenda item number 22, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, Dr. Nozick.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you. I'll echo that. Congratulations to all of our students. And I'll be honest, it was really nice to have students thanking us for giving them the opportunity to go to those places, the Model UN. That was, I'm sorry they left. I wanted to catch them before they went, but that was a really nice thing for them to do. And I do appreciate that. In my role as in operations, I wanted to kind of update you on what's happening with the concierge update. It's been exactly 2 weeks since the news broke. And just want to let you know what we're doing to try and mitigate the situation. In your board packets, you have copies of 8 emails that we've sent out in the last 2 weeks from central office. This doesn't count all the correspondence from the schools, the principals, teachers reaching out to families. But I did want to kind of update you. I'll make up for it on my financial report. I'll try to make that one a little bit faster. But this is kind of unprecedented for us. So I did want to kind of take you through it, explain some of the emails, and you can kind of tell just by the size of how much I blocked out, how many people it went to. So some went to lots of people. Some went to a smaller group. So let me just walk you through that. On Thursday, February 5th, we had word that buildings 400 and 500 were deemed unsafe and that the residents were told to leave. This impacted 63 of our students across 4 different schools. The next day, we met with town officials in the morning and then learned that buildings 100, 200, and 300 were also deemed unsafe. So another 66 students were added to the list, bringing the total to 129 students. We did reach out and email the residents of Concierge offering our support, providing them with information on various food pantries and snacks being provided to the schools. This was coordinated with the Human Services Department at the town. I did want to give a shout out to Mr. Kennison for quickly providing us with a list of students residing at the Concierge apartments, and in turn, we were able to quickly provide the schools with a list of impacted families in their buildings. The thought at the time was that buildings 400 and 500 might be able to return by the end of that weekend, but that didn't happen until Tuesday. Later on Friday, Dr. Zito emailed the entire school community with an update and information because we had a lot of people that were reaching out asking what they could do, and so those instructions were included in the email as well. On Sunday, February 8th, we sent an email to impacted families letting them know that we still had not received information on where families were staying, despite repeated requests from the property manager on Friday and throughout the weekend. After speaking to the fire marshal to make sure we wouldn't be entering or creating a hazardous situation, we emailed families Sunday evening and told them that we would be running our regular routes on Monday from the concierge buildings if that was easier than transporting kids directly to the schools. On Monday, February 9th, we did receive a list from Human Services of 17 families who were placed at the Sheridan. Unfortunately, this was not acquired through the property management company, but through Melissa Hicks, the Director of Human Services. This happened kind of almost by accident. She was asked to stop by the Sheridan, and when she did, she was provided a list of our students that were staying there from the families themselves. We then worked with NBT, our transportation company, to get students to and from the Sheridan the following day. Email communication to the families of those 17 students was sent out Monday afternoon informing them of this. And then a second email to those families in the evening provided them with the bus numbers and pickup and drop-off times. On Tuesday, the 10th, we were notified that buildings 400 and 500 would be allowed back in, and that reduced the number of displaced students from 129 down to 66. On Thursday, the 12th, having waited almost a week for the list of displaced students that was never given to us, we sent a survey to all the families in buildings 100, 200, and 300, asking them for their current location and how long they expected to stay there. We received 23 responses from approximately 60 families, so just a little bit over a third. And then I wanted to share something with you that I know that I had not fully considered. Staying in a hotel under these circumstances is not like staying at a hotel when you go on vacation where you book a room for the entirety of your stay. Many of these families would spend a night or two in one location and then have to leave for other accommodations. This makes it even more challenging to try and set up transportation. Usually it takes us a couple days to get a route together, and by the time the parents let us know where they were staying, say on a Monday, by Wednesday they were somewhere else. This stability, no matter how long, is very important to families. For example, Dr. Zito and I had called the family who was staying in a hotel in another town, and Dr. Zito had offered to get her and her child into a hotel in Rocky Hill. With buildings 400 and 500 reopening, there were presumably more rooms in town available, and we were trying to get people closer to town. However, the parent politely declined the request to come closer to Rocky Hill, stating that she was already in her third hotel in 6 days, and that she was guaranteed at least a full week in her current hotel if she stayed there. She didn't want to move into a fourth hotel and not know how long her and her child would be able to be staying there. On Wednesdays, we used the results from the survey to set up transportation to 5 Rocky Hill hotels. I have to say special thanks to Jason Hughes and New Britain Transportation for making this happen without adding any cost to our district. Using existing buses, he added 5 stops for each tier of our bus schedule. Bus numbers, pickup times, and drop-off times were communicated to families via email, and that service started today. One thing that I wanted to also share and point out is to run a bus to a hotel sounds like, okay, you're going to run a bus to a hotel. However, this impacts 4 schools, 3 different start times. So we run on 3 tiers. So the bus going to the Sheridan didn't just make a trip to the Sheridan. It made a trip to the Sheridan for the kids that were going to school at Rocky Hill and GMS. Then it made another trip for the kids going to Mosier. Then it made a third trip for the kids going to West Hill. Multiply that by 5 hotels in town. What New Britain did was really, quite frankly, very impressive. On February 19th, that's today, we, again, using the results of the survey and working with MBT, We are using 2 existing vans to transport. We have 6 kids staying in one hotel out of town. Because they were, all 6 kids were in the same hotel, we were able to use 2 vans, one to pick up the high school kids, there were 3 of them, and then one to pick up the West Hill kids because there were 3 of them. So we're able to get 2 additional hotels on our list using existing vans. And that service actually starts tomorrow. And then one of the things that, kudos to Jason Hughes for doing this, when little kids go on a school bus, they don't need booster seats. When little kids go in a van, they do. So Jason went out and purchased 3 booster seats so that these 3 kids could be picked up in a van in a different town and be brought to school starting tomorrow. As of 3 o'clock this afternoon, residents from Building 200 are allowed to come back home. So this leaves us with 37 students from the 129 that are still displaced. Of those 37 kids, 26 are receiving transportation from us or could if they wanted to. So in other words, they live or they're staying in town in Rocky Hill. Another student is staying with family. 7 are still out of town. 7 out of 129, which is really not too bad considering. And then we have 2 families with 3 kids who we have not been able to reach. Again, I appreciate everybody's efforts and cooperation from NBT to the schools, to the town, especially Human Services and the Fire Marshal's Office. We've been in touch with them, if not daily, then every other day. And I would say that, moving forward, should something like this happen again, at least we know we can set up stops at each of our hotels in town without too much difficulty. The only cost, and again, concierge is supposed to be paying for this, the only additional cost that we have incurred since it started is 1 van and 1 aide to go pick up a student out of town. That's a combined cost of $369 per day. And so NBT is keeping a separate invoice from what they normally bill us just for this additional charge to make it hopefully a little bit cleaner so we can simply give this to the concierge management and they don't have to sort through, any of the other buses and vans. So it's pretty straightforward for them. And hopefully, with any luck, buildings 100 and 300 will be back. But, we're prepared to support them, wherever they are at the moment. That's all I have for concierge. I don't know if anybody, has questions or I can jump into the financial report.
I have a hand up. Mr. Clevens, go ahead.
Thank you for that detailed report, and thank you for New Britain Transport for all their help in this. You threw a lot of numbers out, so forgive me if I'm wrong at the end. You said there's 3 families with kids we haven't heard from?
2 families, 3 children.
So haven't heard from us, they're not going to school this entire time, or we just haven't heard back where they're staying?
We haven't heard from where they were living. The principals
they've
have
been
reached
going to
out. I don't know if they're going to school. We track attendance. I get attendance as a whole. Right now, we're at about 84%. That family, I know the assistant principal called. We've sent emails. I've sent a bunch of emails. We haven't received any word from anyone, and we haven't been able to reach them by phone.
My concern is now we're on, week 2, going on week 3?
It's 2 weeks today.
2 weeks today, and obviously it's a lot of missed school. These kids are in fact missing school over this. Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Manella.
Scott, thank you so much for that very detailed report. It was very eye-opening. I do have a quick question regarding transportation. The buses go into the hotels to pick up the children. Did it affect the routes at all for drop-off or pick-up? Like a domino effect? I
Right.
guess.
No, it's a great question. Before we put it in place, we looked at the times, and they're all within that 10-minute window that you have. So it didn't shift them anybody by more than that. So we're within the 10-minute window. What he looked at when he was building the route was we have a lot of buses that will go by there. So whatever bus was closest, that was the bus that was assigned. So it was really kind of like a quick, pit stop in and out. It didn't really add a lot of time on.
Good, perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Dr. Nozak, I also want to say thank you for a very detailed report. I know I've been in pretty much constant contact with you and Dr. Zito. I also want to say a thank you to Jason Hughes for really working with us, and I think he's gone above and beyond buying booster seats and things like that. So he's probably will be getting a thank you note from me. But I thank you for keeping families in the loop. I appreciate the amount of emails that you have shared with us to kind of keep us updated on this crisis situation, and hopefully it will die down very soon. Thank you.
Also in your packet, you have the regular financial report reflecting year-to-date figures for the month ending January 31st, 2026. I've highlighted a number of line items for your review. These are the exact same line items that we have been over the last couple of months. Sub-teachers, Medicare, group insurance, pension, and then tuition in and out of district. That tuition, hopefully by the end of February, we'll have our first check for excess cost grant reimbursement. And then we're continuing to monitor the accounts as we go.
Any questions about Dr. Nozik's financial report? Mr. Clemens.
Just about the 114, the substitute teachers. I believe it was Dr. Diaz-Santiago mentioned you interviewed a few subs. How would the hiring of those subs impact this budget?
Well, let me just say that getting the subs for the classroom teachers is extremely important. Wearing the hat that I do, I was like, really? Hire more? No, but we needed them. It will drive us to, if we have additional subs that are paid out of that line, we'll continue to go, under in that line. But those are, necessary. We need to have subs in there, but your
Right,
thought process is correct. We are going to continue to go negative in that line.
But just because we're hiring, that doesn't mean that they're all working at the same time. So as we hire daily subs, we maintain a list of subs, and they know you'll get hired, and we'll do the onboarding with the condition that it's an on-call. So they know that they don't work every single day.
So hopefully we'll have a really good pool of subs available and
That's
then
what
just
we're
not need
working
them.
on. On a good pool, yes, of subs. Thank you.
That is wishful thinking, Dr. Nozick. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you very much for your report tonight. Moving on to agenda item number 23, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Ms. Durand could not make it tonight, but Dr. Zito is going to read her report.
Yes, so thank you very much. Ms. Durant's under the weather, so she asked me to pinch hit for her tonight. So she has a handout for you that you should have received in your packet, but I'm going to share her comments first and then address the handout. The District Wellness Professional Development Day that took place on Friday, February 13th, was a well-organized professional learning experience for staff. The day began with a district-wide wellness presentation in the high school auditorium, followed by a rich menu of optional sessions throughout the district. A wide variety of sessions were offered throughout the day, covering physical activity, mental health, creative arts, practical life skills, and mindfulness, allowing staff to select learning experiences that supported both personal well-being and classroom practice. Sincere thanks to the many staff members who volunteered to lead sessions and share their skills. A special shout out to Stephanie Malkin, our high school psychologist, who began the day with an inspiring presentation on wellness that was filled with valuable information that staff members can incorporate into their daily life skills and practice in the way they approach their life. We appreciate her expertise and commitment to staff and student well-being. We also want to give a shout out to our drama club advisor, Jillian Freitag, and her students, who, to get high school kids to come in on a day off, you got to ask a lot. And these kids were great. They gave a sneak peek. They did a little scene in their T-shirts for the Little Mermaid production. Added a lot of joy to the day. It modeled student involvement. I've commended Wendy in the last update. She's really made an effort to involve students in our professional development. Typically, it's our high school kids. A couple months ago, we had a district-wide PD day where high school kids came and talked about the impact of AI in their lives. And it was really interesting to kind of see the perspective of 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. So I want to commend Wendy. It's the first time we've done that to set a portion of the day aside for kids when we have our staff together. And I like it because it grounds us in the work, like why we're here. We're here to support kids. So it's really cool to see that. So those kids from the drama club did a great job, and I think it was a good kind of a sneak peek on their performance, which I think will be fantastic in March. She wants to share some information on some upcoming events and reminders. The full production for The Little Mermaid is scheduled for March 20th and March 21st, so save the dates, come out and support the kids. We have one book week scheduled for the first week of March. The K-5 schools will highlight books by Jory John, including The Good Egg, The Bad Seed, and others that center on kindness and acceptance. These messages align with the board's voice committee work and our district's focus on social emotional learning and respectful school climates. March 6th is a half-day professional development focused on curriculum and vertical alignment. And then the parent-teacher conferences are scheduled for the K-5 schools. Remember, a few years ago, the board added the spring parent conferences to the calendar, and those dates are March 18th through the 20th. And then there's a handout here kind of covering what went on during the Wellness Day, and you could kind of read that on your own. But I know our board chair had an opportunity to be there and saw Ms. Malkin's presentation and the kids as well. It was a really, really good start to the day. So thank Wendy and all of the people who got involved. You've got a whole list here of staff members who led sessions, and I'll mention them by name as well. John Petray, Terrell White, Kat Mader, Kim Antal, Leah O'Leary, Leanne Xenofontis, she's with Sodexo, Brian Jacobson, Leslie Fuchs, Ryan Ellis, Dr. Erica Kesselman, David DeCarli, Eileen Schneider, Jen Paragon, Tanya Adorno, Lori Cavanda, Tracy Benani, Meg Myers, Alice Quinn, Steve Patterini, Kim Lane, Steph Malkin, Dr. Brian Graca, Rochelle Stevenson, and Lisa Coakley. It's a really good group of folks, and a really good job by Wendy putting this together last weekend on Friday.
Very good. Thank you so much. And moving on to agenda item number 24, Superintendent's Report. Again, Dr. Zito.
So I've already spoken a lot tonight. I want to thank Scott for his Herculean efforts to address the situation at Constant Ridge. It's been difficult. I also want to commend what I've seen from our colleagues on the town side, the town building department, building inspectors, fire marshal. They've been really, really good. We are getting our information from town officials, not from television reports or other people speaking on the issues. We're getting the information from fire marshal, building inspector, and so forth. And we've also seen an amazing job with our colleagues in Human Services. Melissa Hicks has done an excellent job responding to really what is an unprecedented situation. 544 homes were disrupted. That's a lot of people when you think about it. Over 2,000 residents in those complexes. Thankfully, 3 of those buildings have been reinstated at this point. But again, Scott has done a great job working with our colleagues from the town side to get the word out, communicate, and like you mentioned earlier, we're running 6 buses into a couple of different towns, plus we're dealing with a couple of special education issues. I won't get into the weeds on that, but individualized transportation further away. And we're working with these families. And I'll tell you what, the families that I've spoken to, they're appreciative. They have thanked the school district for the efforts. They're not angry at us. They're appreciative. I know that Kara Quinn worked with her colleagues, some other principals. I see Jason here tonight. To do an event for the impacted families at West Hill School last Saturday. We didn't have a huge turnout, but the families that came out really expressed appreciation. I know Wendy had an opportunity to go. I did ask Ms. Lafredo to represent the board at that event, and she showed her appreciation to the staff. We had a large number of staff show up to support those families. And really, the concept was just to give those families a little bit of a break from the drudgery of hotel living. You know, this is not a hotel in the Cayman Islands or sitting, you know, Disney World for 2 weeks with your kids. This is 2 nights. I mean, the parent I called from my office, 2 nights at one Sheraton, 2 nights at another hotel, and then shipped off to a Homewood Suites in Wallingford, like constantly getting moved around every 2 or 3 days. It's not glamorous hotel living. So the effort that those staff members made to give those people a little bit of a break from that hotel drudgery is greatly appreciated. So shout out to Kara and the other principals who really stepped up to help out that day, and their teachers. And really the only other kind of quick item is today I returned a check to the town. We got a reimbursement check from Cigna for $164,459. And that was a final closeout on our old insurance plan as they went through. That's the last kind of settling of the account, if you will. That has to, by law, be returned to the town. I returned it to Mona McKim, the town treasurer, today. And we have a request to put that into the capital non-recurring account. So I believe that request is going to be acted on, or has been acted on already, and that money will be there to support the board's capital expenses.
Thank you very much. The last agenda item is my report, which I will make very quick. I just would like to begin by recognizing the outstanding work of all of our board members during the recent budget workshops. They were very long and demanding evenings, yet very thoughtful and thorough and respectful questions that you asked. And it really demonstrated your strong commitment to the fiscal responsibility and student-centered decision-making. Taking this time to methodically work through our operating budget is essential, and your diligence truly showed. I'd also like to appreciate the district administration, Dr. Zito, his staff, along with the building principals and vice principals who supported the budget conversations by being present at these very long meetings. As you may notice, have noticed, we're making several intentional updates to our board meetings, and these include inviting students to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, which I thoroughly enjoyed this evening with our very brave second grader. And we are beginning the meetings with celebrations and shout outs. And believe it or not, so it was something that happened during our budget workshop where Mr. Clemens, you started us off and with some shout outs about sports happening in district. And it really just, I felt, put a great kind of a positive spin on our evening. So I wanted to continue that. So thank you for reaching out and letting us know that there were some celebrations that we needed to announce. And we will continue doing that, so please feel free to reach out and let me know if there's something that you feel we should celebrate. And last week, we dedicated some time at the policy meeting to the development of the board handbook. And once it's complete, I hope that our current members, that they find that this handbook becomes a valuable reminder of our roles, responsibilities, and statutory obligations. And finally, Mr. Vassell was here tonight to talk about the Wizards. I also was going to just talk about it again very quickly. I did buy my ticket. I do expect, hopefully, the rest of you will be there. I know, Ms. Dudanowitz, you probably wouldn't be playing, but you can sit in the stands and support everyone. Again, it's Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. at the high school. And I do have to say, I had talked to Mr. Vassell recently over at West Hill School when he came to speak to the staff there to try and get them all on board to play. And he brought to my attention that the foundation has contributed $178,000 to the Rocky Hill Public Schools. And it really, truly is an incredible testament to community support and the generosity of the Educational Foundation. So I do want to make sure that we get out there and support them. All right, and with that, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. A second, please. Mr. Shabra, thank you so much. All in favor? Aye. Aye.